How has your week been?
Good, actually.
I saw you click submit on your final presentation.
Yeah.
Yay!
That
One
was a
semester down.
Yeah, that was a little intimidating, but it was good. It was good. I ended up getting a 96 in my class.
Yay!
I was very excited. In
That's
7th
awesome.
grade, I got a 96. That's what I keep saying. I'm in 17th grade.
I love it.
Yeah. So things are good. Busy, which is crazy because you would think it wouldn't be. But I've had a kind of a relaxing weekend, so that's been nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Sound like you're clicking away there.
I'm making sure everything's live and we've got viewers hopping on. And I made the new cover for tonight's story.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just adding that to the event. If you are joining us live, make sure you leave a comment. And if you're watching this as a recording, also leave a comment.
Yeah.
Tell us if you've read any of Becky's books. Tell us what you love about Christmas.
And I can see the comments too if I click on the comments, right?
Oh, great. Yeah, I think so. You should be able to.
Cool.
The notification just went out, so everybody should be able to join us.
Cool.
Have you finished all your shopping?
No. I'm pretty close though. I've gotten a lot done, which has been good. And just when I thought I had all the holiday decorations I need, one of my tutoring students actually dropped off the biggest poinsettia I've ever seen.
Aww.
So cool. And she saw it and told her dad I could get that from Miss Becky.
Oh, that's awesome.
She knows that I love me some Christmas. And now, like, my entire island, which is really in my kitchen, is completely taken up with this giant poinsettia. It's pretty cool. It's super, super tall, super wide. It's awesome.
I love it.
It's like Christmas exploded.
All right. I am going to unveil us.
Uh-oh.
Let us hop on here. Hello.
Hello,
everyone. Take off my glasses because we've got a glare.
All red sweater. You did that on purpose.
So this is a green screen. Like, I actually do have green screen, and I have a really cool fun. I think you saw like the lights, but I have this sweater on because we went to dinner. As I was saying earlier, we went to dinner with my in-laws, and my sweater actually is the kind that like lights up.
Oh, that's so cool.
I found this.
I'm up to snow good.
I love it. It's got these little like things that like. Let me see if this one will do it. One of these will like light up. So it's got these like little bead things in here that were supposed to like light up and flash, but they died. Most of them died. So I actually inserted my own. I got some lights that I ran in between the sweater. So it's my light up sweater for now. Yeah. So I've got my festive background. One of these days I'll figure out how to get the green screen to work so that I'm not like blurry or like missing pieces.
That's really cool. So it's just a background?
It's literally just a green piece of cloth.
Oh! I liked your Christmas tree last time. That was great.
So I can do that. So I can do. These are my Christmas lights, but it makes my shirt disappear.
Oh no!
The green. It's trying to overwrite the green, but you can even my green eyeshadow. It's like making me like twitch out my green eyeshadow because it's trying to like overwrite the green with the background. So
that's crazy. That's so weird.
So thank you everyone for joining. It helps if I make us a little smaller, make me a little smaller, but then I also get laggy, I feel like, with the green screen. So I just left it green because I feel like that was festive for now. Your background looks like a green screen. It's just so perfect and like holiday festive.
As you know, I'm obsessed with Christmas. So decorating for Christmas is like one of my favorite things to do. So, yeah. So. That's pretty cool this year. I like what I did with everything this year. It's pretty similar to last year, but a little different with the mantle.
It's a very clean, cozy look.
Yeah.
All right. I will let you get started. And I know tonight you are reading A Boy and a Snowman. I'm going to cover myself up and mute myself for now.
All right. And it was interesting because I was reading through this, and for anyone who doesn't know, this story is kind of the backstory of Frosty and everything that happens to the kids that build him and why they build him. And as I was reading through it, I have to go so far into the book to meet Frosty. So unfortunately, we won't get quite that far tonight to actually meet him. But I guess that's a good incentive to go ahead and get the book from Liz at capricosbooks.com. And then you can find out, you can actually meet Frosty and find out more about him. So, all right. So, a boy and his snowman. The winter it all began. "That's not fair," Hayden shouted, his fists balled up and his face contorted with anger. His sisters were horrible cheaters, and they were at it again. "Oh, come on, Hayden," Riley protested. "Yeah, if you're going to be so particular about rules, maybe you should just write out a handbook." Peyton stood there, her blue wool hat with the ridiculous puffball on top, bouncing back and forth as she spoke. Her hands were on her hips, and she stared ahead at her little brother, just waiting for his comeback. "Then we'd have to all read it before we're allowed to play with you," Riley added, flicking her auburn braids over her shoulders and mimicking her big sister's body language. "What are you talking about?" Hayden asked, completely confused. "When you're hit by a snowball, you're out. We've always played that way." "In most games that I've played," Peyton began snottily, "if you're hit above the waist, it doesn't count." "That's in dodgeball, Peyton, not snow war," Hayden spat, angrier than ever. They just wanted to make up their own rules, and he was not about to let that happen. Peyton rolled her brown eyes. "Come on, Riley, let's go get some hot chocolate. Hayden's dumb games are getting boring." The boy stood there in the snow and watched his sisters stomp off toward the front door, their boots crunching the freshly fallen snow from the night before. The door slammed behind them, and Hayden gritted his teeth. When was he going to learn? Playing with his sisters was not a good idea. They always ganged up on him, and when things didn't go their way, they would just storm off in protest. At least that's how it had been lately. Hayden took in a deep breath of cold winter air and tried to shake off his irritation. He looked across the yard to his neighbor's house. Everything in the neighborhood was completely covered in snow. The trees were bending under the weight, and the houses had white frosty roofs. The children were out of school early for Christmas vacation due to the recent snow, and Hayden was glad. He hated school, and fourth grade was the worst. And the only thing he liked about it was being with his best friends. They lived in the same neighborhood as he did, and he wondered what they were up to that afternoon. Hayden pulled his mittens tighter and adjusted his red wool cap over his auburn hair. He had the whole morning to play out in the snow, and he was not going to let Peyton and Riley ruin that for him. Playing in the snow was one of Hayden's favorite things about winter. But what could he do all by himself? Suddenly, an idea came to him. With determination in his deep green eyes, Hayden scooped up handfuls of snow and began to build a snowman. He could make this snowman any way he wanted. Whenever Riley and Peyton were building one with him, Hayden had to make it the way that they wanted, which was usually a snow girl. They made him use their mother's hats or handbags, and Hayden was miserable. So this time, he started making the snowman his way. He would make the roughest, toughest snowman. Riley and Peyton's stupid creations would never compare to what he was about to build. Hayden couldn't help the huge grin that spread across his face as he got down to work. "Hi, Hayden!" Hayden knew that voice anywhere, and his grin only got bigger. He turned around and saw his 5 closest friends strolling across the snow toward him. His day was suddenly getting much better. The one that had yelled to him was Addison Garber. She was leading the pack as usual, and her blonde hair was sticking out from underneath her green cap in 2 long braids. Addison's outfit was as crazy and mismatched as ever. She had on a thick purple coat, blue and white striped gloves, yellow snow pants, and black boots. Addison always dressed like that. And Hayden was starting to wonder if she owned a mirror. But that was Addison. She was a girl that liked to stand out from the crowd. "Hi," Hayden said with a smile. "What are you building?" Caleb asked. With his dark brown, curly hair and light blue eyes, Caleb Harper was starting to get noticed by all the girls at school. But Caleb didn't care about them at all. He would rather be playing some type of sport. He didn't even mind which one. "Just a snowman," Hayden answered plainly. "Did you hear about the competition?" Bryn asked, her green eyes wide with excitement. Brinley LeMay had moved to Hayden's neighborhood in the beginning of the school year, and she fit right in with the clan. And if any of them ever called her by her full name, they'd better watch out. Bryn never went by Brinley, and when the teachers called out her full name during roll call, Bryn's face would flush as red as her hair. What competition? Hayden asked, knocking the snow from his mittens. There's a snowman competition next week, Noah replied before Bryn could get a word out. Pushing his dark-rimmed glasses up his nose, Noah sniffed loudly. Noah Hall was the smartest one in the group, and he was always ready and willing to help if any of them were confused about their homework. There is? The mayor announced it today, Addison added with a nod. Really? Hayden was intrigued. We should enter, Sadler suggested. We would win for sure. You really think so? Bryn asked, her eyes still wide. Sure, Sadler said, and why not? We make snowmen for fun every year, and everyone in the neighborhood always tells us that they're great, don't they? Sadler Stevenson was the oldest, and he never let any of them forget it. He was only older by 4 months, but the rest of the troop always looked up to him and followed his lead. Well, if they weren't already following Addison's lead, that is. What would we make? Noah asked. Addison looked at him like he was crazy. A snowman, Noah. It's a snowman competition. Noah glared at her. I know that. I mean, if we just build any old snowman, what will make ours win? Yeah, it won't be different than anyone else's, Caleb agreed. It's got to be amazing. Sadler said, we could make something really neat. Maybe Santa? Ooh, Bryn said dreamily. What about Santa and his reindeer? Hayden laughed to himself. Guys, it's a snowman competition. I think we just have to build the best snowman around. But we can't just make a boring one, Noah whined. Don't worry, Sadler said convincingly. It won't be boring. Hayden smacked Noah on the shoulder. Yeah, Noah, since when have any of our creations ever been boring? Noah scrunched his nose as he thought deeply. Addison rolled her eyes at his nerdy mannerisms. Never, I guess, the boy said with a shrug. Want to build a practice one, guys? Hayden suggested, rubbing his mittens together, anxious to get started. Sure, Bryn exclaimed. Yeah, come on, Sadler agreed, scooping up a large handful of snow. Let's get to work. Operation Snowman has officially begun. Hayden walked into his family's kitchen a few hours later. His stomach was rumbling for lunch, and his nose and fingers were practically numb. Peyton and Riley were sitting at the table, giggling and eating their sandwiches. He strolled right past them, ignoring their ridiculous laughing. What's for lunch, Mom? He asked as he tugged off his mittens and hat. His mother was standing at the sink peeling potatoes for their dinner later. She turned to face him and smiled at his pink cheeks. Oh, honey, you look absolutely frozen. His mom brushed her short brown hair from her eyes with her arm. She had part of her hair pulled back messily, and there were wispy pieces struggling to be free of the band. Her hands were covered with yellow rubber gloves, and there were potato shavings all over the sink. I'm okay, Mom, Hayden told her, grabbing a drink from the fridge. Want a tuna sandwich? She asked, taking off her gloves. Sure, that'd be great, Hayden said, walking over to the table. He didn't really want to sit with his sisters, especially after their morning argument, but there wasn't any other choice. Their mom didn't like for them to eat in the living room unless the whole family was eating out there for a change of pace. We saw you guys outside, Peyton said after swallowing and flipping her long curly black hair back. Hayden just blinked. Me and my friends, you mean? Yeah, Riley replied with a nod. She was grinning and trying to hold something in, Hayden could tell. So, Hayden said, what were they getting at? Caleb was there, right? Riley asked, nudging Peyton a few times with her elbow. Hayden was completely confused. Yeah, so what? He was pretty sure that Peyton was blushing. Peyton likes him, Riley sputtered, sliding to the side of her chair before her sister could attack. I do not, Peyton protested, slamming her palms down on the table and glaring at her little sister. You do too, Riley said, followed by a round of giggles. Riley, Peyton hissed through her teeth, I do not. Take it back. He's a lot younger than me. I heard you. You said you liked him, Riley added, settling herself back into her seat and grabbing for her sandwich. I did not, Peyton screeched. Girls, their mom scolded as she set Hayden's sandwich down in front of him. That's enough. Riley, if your sister likes a boy, that's her business. Stop pestering her. But, Mom, I don't like him, Peyton yelped, pleading her case. Whatever you say, dear. Their mom walked back over to the sink to finish her peeling, and that was the end of that. But Hayden couldn't help the grin that spread over his face, and he tuned out the rest of their conversation. So Peyton liked Caleb. He could definitely use this as future ammo in their constant battles. It felt great to have something to hang over Peyton's head. Hayden bit into his tuna sandwich, thinking that maybe it was going to be a great day after all. Later in the afternoon, Hayden met back up with his friends over at Addison's house. He was glad they all lived in the same neighborhood. It made their get-togethers pretty easy. He didn't have to ask his mom to drive him anywhere. Hayden could just walk through the development. Even though the winter air was biting at his face and hands, he thoroughly enjoyed his stroll that day. The sun was hiding behind a thick blanket of winter clouds, and Hayden was pretty sure they would see snow again overnight. He loved snow. Winter was his favorite time of year, and even though this morning had started off pretty rough, Hayden became determined to make the rest of his vacation the best one he'd ever had. He would dive right into preparing for the town snowman competition, and nothing was going to get in his way or spoil his excitement. Hayden had a lot more pep in his step as he continued across the snowy sidewalks to Addison's house. When he reached her yard, he could see Caleb, Bryn, and Addison sitting on the front stoop. "Hey, guys," he shouted as he rounded the corner hedge and crunched across the snow towards them. "Hi, Hayden," Bryn said happily. "Ready to get started?" Addison said, standing up with a shiver and brushing snow from her pants. "Shouldn't we wait for Noah and Sadler?" Hayden asked. "Guess so," Addison agreed with a shrug. Hayden could tell she was excited and wanted to get started as soon as possible with their plans. She was absolutely antsy. "I brought my drawing book," Caleb informed them, pulling a thick notebook from his brown book sack. "That way we can really plan out what we want to do." "That's a good idea," Bryn said. "After all, we have to come up with one amazing snowman to beat everybody else." Just then, Sadler and Noah came around the corner bushes and began walking up the front yard. Noah looked particularly eager. His walk had more bounce in it than usual. They were quite a pair. Noah looked so short next to Sadler, who had grown at least 2 inches over the first half of the school year. "Good, they're here. We can get started." Addison walked toward the 2 boys. "Wait, Addison, don't you want to figure out what we're building first?" Caleb said, holding out his notebook. Addison turned back to Caleb. "We don't need to draw the snowman. Can't we just create as we go along?" Sadler stepped up beside Addison, shaking his blonde hair from his eyes. "Why don't we let Hayden, Bryn, and Caleb start mapping out some ideas while you, me, and Noah start packing the snow for the bottom?" He could tell that Addison just wanted to start building. They were a snowman competition team, and he needed to keep Addison calm as best as he could. She sure could get worked up sometimes. "Sounds good to me," Hayden replied, sitting down on the stoop next to Caleb. Bryn was on Caleb's other side, and the 3 friends hunched over the notebook as Caleb began to sketch. Addison, Noah, and Sadler picked out the perfect spot in the yard as Caleb's pencil scratched along the paper, their picture-perfect snowman forming on the page. "Let's get going, guys," Addison directed, and Noah obediently tugged on his gloves and began pulling together piles of snow. Sadler followed suit, giving in to Addison's leadership, which he never did quite that easily. After a little time had passed, Caleb's drawing was complete, and Hayden was totally impressed with their work. The other 3 friends started to form a huge round ball of snow, due to Caleb's request, and they were packing it tight and smoothing it all around. "Well, what did you come up with?" Addison asked as she and the 2 boys took a break and walked to the stoop. Hayden's face was beaming. "It's going to look great." That's all.
Yay! Oh, that sounds so exciting. No, I know. I feel like you and I were talking about snow and how badly we want snow this year, and it just makes me want snow even more. It kind of felt like snow a little bit this morning. I went out and it was gray and just like you could almost feel it.
A couple of days that I've walked outside and it smelled like snow. You know, just like it feels like it's gonna happen. I keep waiting for it to happen. But I know.
But it's teasing us. It seems like it's been such a wet, damp summer. So I'm hoping that means we'll get snow. But yeah, so thank you everyone for joining us. And don't forget, you can find Becky's books at capricosbooks.com. And here is an example or an image of all of the Christmas books she has. And in a few weeks, we'll be reading The Stable Elf, which is a little bit closer to Christmas themed, even though they're all Christmas themed. But you can definitely check out our YouTube channel as well to see past readings of A Hippopotamus for Christmas and Partridge and a Pear Tree. So thank you so much again for joining us, Becky. I really, really appreciate your time on all these. And I love that you always get me in the spirit, even though I'm there, like it just always builds. You make me, just talking to you always makes me feel like I've just went out and drove through neighborhoods and saw Christmas lights. You know, that kind of excited feeling where I'm just like, oh, I just need to go home and decorate my house even more.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, and I think we talked about it too. Like December is just so much. Like, obviously I love Christmas, but like it's a special time. My birthday is actually this Wednesday.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, my brother's birthday was Friday, and then my birthday is on Wednesday. We're both December babies, so that's cool. So it's an exciting week for me, and thank you for this opportunity. It's really fun to share these books. You know, I wrote A Boy and His Snowman so long ago that it's really nice for me also to revisit it, because as authors, I think we don't always go back and read our writing. We're very critical of ourselves. So it's neat to go back and revisit, you know, some of the characters we've created and some of the worlds we've created. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes. We'll also, maybe we'll have to do a, if Corona keeps going the way that it is, then maybe we'll have to do something in July. We'll do a Christmas in July celebration again.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And just remember the holidays and the fun times again.
That's actually a pretty good idea. And I could even give like a little sneak peek of a Christmas book that I have started working on.
Ooh, that sounds great.
Nobody would have heard from that yet, so that would be pretty cool.
Okay. All right. We'll have to get something on the calendar.
Yeah.
But thank you again. And again, on December 20th, it's a Sunday evening right before Christmas, we will be reading, or Becky will be reading The Stable Elf. So join us again then. And if you need any of these, make sure I can ship them out right away. They're available on the website. So you still have time to get them before the holidays, and you can read them and celebrate. I don't think we've ever talked about and I don't know how to pronounce it, but there's I believe it's a Swedish or Norwegian tradition of giving gifts and reading on Christmas Eve and drinking hot chocolate. So that sounds amazing, and these books would be perfect for that. Yeah. So hopefully you guys will check more of them out, and we will see you later. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Hey. Bye. And happy birthday, Becky. Before I forget, I keep thinking about saying it, and then I forget, and then I'm like, oh no, I gotta say it. Happy birthday, Becky. All right, good night, everyone.